This podcast shares the story of Monsieur X. Monsieur X was a participant in a research project about the experiences of social exclusion and inclusion among people aging with neurodiversity and their families. Our project documented the stories of people aging with neurodiversity, 45 years of age and older, and their family caregivers about their lives, their experiences of growing older, their strengths, hopes and dreams, their housing realities, needs and wishes, their experiences with health and social services, and their social networks and supports. The objectives of the project were to foreground the voices of older people living with neurodiversity and their family caregivers, and advocate for more inclusive programs and policies that better address the realities of, challenges facing, and agency enacted by neurodiverse older people and their family caregivers. Thank you to Monsieur X for sharing his story with us. The quotes in this English podcast of the story of Monsieur X are shortened a bit from the original French. Please read the written story version in English or listen to the French podcast for all of Monsieur X's quotes that he shared during our interviews. Monsieur X was born in 1955. He is intelligent, quick-witted, and friendly. He enjoys engaging in conversations with people wherever he goes. He likes to tell jokes and has a dry sense of humor. Mr. X comes from a close-knit family and is the eldest of 3 children. He has 2 younger sisters with whom he remains close. Monsieur X described his family as loving. He also shared that his father was old school and strict. His father's role was to take care of the family financially, while his mother stayed at home with the children. Monsieur X told us that his dad was not often at home, and that his mom was responsible for household chores. Monsieur X told us that he grew up in a strict environment, and if he or his sisters misbehaved, there were consequences. He explained that it was not easy and made him rebellious. He withdrew, and it took him a long time to open up. When comparing his childhood to that of children today, he jokingly told us that things are different today because people talk back to their parents, but he could never do that when he was young.
I could not be whiny. Now, kids talk back to their parent. I feel like if I had talked back to my parent, I would not be in the world anymore.
Monsieur X said that he learned to be a macho man from his father. He laughed when he told us that he learned to believe that household chores were for women. His mother would often tease him about it, calling him her macho. The nickname stuck, and Monsieur X now uses it to describe himself.
That's right. Excuse me for the expression, but I am a bit of a macho.
With a slight smile on his face, Monsieur X shared with us that his mother also used to call him Dan Macho when he would come up with macho quotes, which he did not like. Joking, he told us that she should have called him sympathetic macho, generous macho, or wonderful macho, but not Dan Macho. To Monsieur X, it was sacrilegious, blasphemous for his mother to curse her own son. Monsieur X doesn't like to use labels to define himself. He told us that he attended a special school when he was young and was proud to mention that he excelled in mathematics and could do additions and subtractions without a calculator. Unfortunately, Monsieur X has been a victim of a lot of bullying and has experienced difficult times because of it. He told us about a time when someone broke his arm and he ended up in the hospital. The person pushed him down the stairs, but Monsieur X explained that the person was not directly mad at him, but was angry about something and acted out. Monsieur X said he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He pushed me down the stair. He was not mad at me, but he was angry. Let's say I was the first one I was in the wrong place in the wrong time.
To this day, Monsieur X despises bullies and stands against those who, in his opinion, treat him or others disrespectfully. Respect is the most important value for him, and when people make fun of you, it is a value judgment.
That's why there are people who, when you tell them things, they make fun of them. Oh, is this, is that, is do this, he does that, is crooked. Those are value judgment.
Due to his specific learning needs and challenges, Monsieur X recounted that at the age of 16, he was placed in an institution by his parents.
Because I had issues, it was my parent who placed me there.
Monsieur X hated going there but resigned himself to do it in order to gain his independence. He told us that he didn't accept it easily, but Monsieur X was determined to become independent, to live on his own, in his own place, and to control his own decisions and choices. Overall, he spent 10 years in an institutional environment, staying in the hospital from Monday to Friday. For a while, he received visits from his parents, and he could only go out with them. Over time, he managed to gain the right to visit his parents alone on weekends. The 10 years he spent in the hospital were a dark period in Monsieur X's life, and he chose not to share too many details about his experiences. However, to this day, he remains marked by the things he saw during his stay at the hospital. After experiencing bullying and disrespect throughout his life, Monsieur X refuses to tolerate this kind of behavior. He gave an example of a past relationship that had become what he called poisonous, leading him to end it in 2003. The relationship caused Monsieur X to lose control of himself and to hurt himself and become aggressive.
He was a guy who had certain issues, okay? But he did not want to deal with his issues. Instead of solving his problem, he tried to solve other people problem. Do you know what we call it? A couple with poorly maintained shoes.
The experience had a considerable negative impact on Monsieur X's mental health and well being. Monsieur X told us that even when he was out of his life, he would still wake up at night thinking about it. In 1977, Monsieur X tried living in a family type resort for a short period, but it didn't work out because sometimes he would come home a bit late and they scolded him and reduced his hours. So he returned to the institution for a while. Eventually, at the age of 30, he moved into a supervised apartment that suited him, where he stayed for 5 years, after which he went back to another hospital for some time. Monsieur X enjoys staying up late, so it was great news when his support team found him an apartment above a pet grooming store and a restaurant that served delicious tomato sandwiches and fully loaded lasagnas. He was able to enjoy the freedom and independence he had always dreamed of, including doing and eating what he wanted.
You go do what you want. Eat whatever you want. Eat at my time, whenever you want.
Monsieur X lived in his apartment for over 18 years, and during this time, he received regular daily visits from caregivers who checked in on him.
I was supervised. Someone came to check on me every day.
Monsieur X has many friends that he has met over the years through his involvement in various groups and organizations. Having genuine friendships is a central element of his life.
I have a real friendship and fake friendship.
Monsieur X also enjoys taking walks in his neighborhood and has met many people during these walks. He knows the public transportation system like the back of his hand. He was proud to share that he took buses too. Monsieur X liked riding the metro. Many years ago, he used to take the metro from one end of the line to the other, and then he will come back. Sometimes he even will go to a bar where he went when he was younger. Monsieur X fondly talked about a friend he made in the neighborhood where he used to live. They have remained good friends and help each other out from time to time. He recounted a recent experience where he went with her to buy a kitten.
The love of the people I know. I have a friend who used to live near me, and she worked no far from where I used to live. I still visit her sometime, and last week I went with her to get a kitten she wanted. She wanted to get a little cat, and she was not used to driving in the area. So she wanted me to accompany her, and I didn't like being with my friend and taking care of the kitten on the way back. It's like my friend cat. When we were in the car, I petted and cuddled it. It's like it my cat.
This memory reminded him of a bird he had as a child. With his characteristic deadpan sense of humor, he recounted how they once returned a bird to the store because it will not sing.
And when we bought a bird, it was guaranteed for 30 days at the pet shop. Once we exchanged one because it did not sing.
Monsieur X doesn't like to talk much about what aging means to him, except to say that his old age scares him because he does not know what will happen to him.
Old age scare me, not knowing what going to happen, illness, the whole kit.
In recent years, Monsieur X has had to deal with health issues. He also had to face an unexpected move from his beloved apartment to an intermediate resource in 2021. When his longtime caregiver announced their retirement, his caregiver and sisters decided it was time for him to move to an intermediate resource where he could receive more support. Monsieur X was very upset about this move.
One of the caregivers who took care of me, she retired and then to move but in a difficult situation. When I found out, I cried so hard.
Although he tried to adapt and met new people, he doesn't like the idea of having to face restrictions on his outings or his diet again, as was the case earlier in his life. Monsieur X spoke with sadness about the aging of his parents and their passing. He shared that his mother passed away in 2009 and his father passed away in 2011. He remembers when his father lost his driver's license after he had a stroke. This event was significant and made him realize his father was facing more fragile health. It was only 2 years after this incident that his father passed away. The deaths of his parents within a few years of each other were very hard for Monsieur X. He shared that he missed his parents and wished he would have passed away before them.
It was difficult, very difficult. The time is difficult because I no longer have my parents. My parents have passed away. I miss them and wish I would have gone before my parents.
Still, Monsieur X knows he can still rely on the constant support of his two young sisters and his brother in law. The happiness that Monsieur X feels when he takes a walk in his neighborhood, his sense of humor that always makes people laugh, his friendly nature, and his kindness have helped him establish meaningful connection throughout his life. With his strong character, he expresses and defends its principles and human values, including self-respect, self-determination, and kindness. Despite the recent difficulties he has encountered as he grows older, Mr. X remains determined, proud, and independent. He benefits from the support of many people in his social network, including caregivers from the community organization where he is active, as well as his friends and family. This podcast celebrates the life of Monsieur X, who sadly passed away in the winter of 2025 after having experienced multiple transitions in his housing that occurred after our interviews were completed. He also faced many service gaps and experiences of system related challenges that further compromise his health and well being. Monsieur X was proud to be a part of our research project. We were privileged to include Monsieur X as a research participant in our project. We are deeply honored to have had the opportunity to get to know him and to share his story with you. Rest in peace, Monsieur X.